My name is Firdausi. If for you difficult to pronounce my name, you can call me Paradise because the meaning of my name it's Garden of Paradise, it's highest place of paradise. Yeah, it's easy to pronounce Paradise. So, dear guests, I will start introduce Samarkand to you. So, Aziz. Our driver's name Aziz. Aziz. My name is Paradise. Yes. He said Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Samarkand. So dear guests, now you are in Samarkand city. Samarkand is the second city after Tashkent, and the name of Samarkand translated from Persian language as a rich city. When Persians came around 3,000 years ago, they came here and they saw Samarkand was in the middle of Silk Road, and Samarkand was a rich, and that's why they started to call Samarkand like rich city. Rich city. It means Samarkand. Second meaning, it's from Turkish language, it means big area, big city or big village. Third version is Samar is the name of the king. Kent means area, it means the area of the Samar. So dear guests, in Tashkent we have metro, I mean subway, and in Samarkand we have tram line, dear guests. Tram line. And in Uzbekistan, public transport, I think cheap. Very cheap. If you use cash, you should pay 3,000. It's 25 cents. But if you pay by Visa card, Mastercard, and normal card, it will be just 15 cents. But if you use special transport card, the Atto we call it, Atto, they charge just 8,000 cents. 8 cents. Just 8 cents. So I mean public transport very cheap. So, dear guests, Samarkand city divided in three historical parts: ancient, old, and European part. Dear guests, ancient part is beginning of Samarkand city Afrasiyab, about 3,000 years old. But in the beginning of 13th century, Chinggis Khan he came and decided to erase Samarkand from the face of earth. He erased that city, that fort, and survivors they moved from that area to another place. They set up market there, and that market became a big because, as I mentioned it, Samarkand was in the middle of Silk Road, and around Timur rose to the throne. Timur built his own city around that market. I know you dislike him because when he captured India, he destroyed many things. I know, but for us, he's a hero because he rebuilt. Chinggis Khan, Mongols destroyed, but Timur rebuilt. That's why he's our hero, national hero. Then in 1865, Russian Empire came. We became as a part of Russia, as a part of Moscow. And Russians, they built in Samarkand also their city. And we call their city Russian part or European part. There are some streets you feel yourself in St. Petersburg. Not modern, like old Petersburg, dear guests. So in these three parts, prohibited to build tall buildings. Buildings should be just 10-15 meters because our tourists, dear guests, this part, another part. This right side, it's Soviet parts. Left side also Soviet part, but this some buildings is new. This is outside of that three parts. In that three parts, building should be just 10-15 meters because in 2017 our president said tourists they come to see our history, not tall buildings, he said. That's why we started to build tall buildings outside of city, outside of these three parts. So dear guests, Samarkand city, cosmopolitan city. The population of Samarkand city just 700,000. Compare India, it's empty, I know. 700,000, and population of Samarkand region more than 4 million. But in city just 700,000 people live, and Samarkand city cosmopolitan. You can meet here not only Uzbeks, you can meet other nations also. Tajiks, Persians, Iranians, Indians, Chinese, Koreans, Polish, German, and others. We have 100 nations, and we live here as a big family and in a peace. So, and you can meet here not only Muslim mosques, you can meet here other religious temples. For example, Jewish synagogues, we have a lot of synagogues, but we have a few Jewish, but we have a lot of synagogues. And we have a lot of churches also. You know, Christian also divided in so many branches. Catholic, Orthodox, like this. And we have all of them, but most of our Christians, they are Orthodox. Because of Russia, they are Orthodox. Because of it, most of our Christian, most of our church, Orthodox church, dear guests. So, dear guests, I think in Tashkent we have a Hindu temple, one Hindu temple, and in south part of Uzbekistan also we have the statue of Buddha and Hindu temples also we have, but that one old one in south part of Uzbekistan, because from the present territory of India, north part of India and Pakistan, the dynasty Kushan, they captured Central Asia and they bring to Central Asia 2000 years ago the religion of Buddhism. So I mean, we have a lot of religion, but nowadays most of population of Uzbekistan Muslims. I guess 90% of population of Uzbekistan Muslims. But I guess you should understand, people, half of people they practice Islam, half of them they don't practice, because Uzbekistan liberal country, not Islamic country, like modern country. People they can choose their religion. So dear guest, now I want to explain you. Samarkand was capital until 1935. I mean, in history we know Samarkand was chosen more than 10 times like capital, but in 1935 Kazakhstan, Soviet Union, that time Central Asia was under the reign of Soviet Union, and Kazakhstan decided to take Tashkent from Uzbekistan, Soviet Union. They said in Tashkent there are so many Kazakh nations, Kazakh people. That's why Tashkent should be part of Kazakhstan, not part of Uzbekistan, they said. And they prepared their plans, they prepared all documents, and our leaders, he heard their plan and suddenly changed capital from Samarkand to Tashkent to keep Tashkent inside of Uzbekistan. He captured it. In the beginning, Uzbekistan, in the beginning of Soviet Union time, Uzbekistan was so big because Tajikistan also part of Uzbekistan. So many cities of Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan also was a part of Uzbekistan, and they started to take. Tajikistan became an independent like another Soviet country, and they took so many cities, and even they decided to take Tashkent. That's why they changed capital. So and after it, Tashkent became a capital. In his history, first time Tashkent became a capital, and nowadays one of the biggest city in Central Asia. Population of Tashkent city nowadays more than 3 million. Population of Tashkent region also more than 4 million. Totally they live 7 million around people. 7 million people. It's one of the biggest city in Central Asia. So dear guests, now I want to explain you a little bit about Uzbekistan also, about borders also. So, dear guests, Uzbekistan, in Uzbekistan, in the world we know just two doubly landlocked country. One of them it's Uzbekistan. It's doubly landlocked country. It means our neighbors also landlocked country, no ocean, no sea. And second landlocked country in the world is in Europe, Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein, we have two. And close ocean in Uzbekistan, it's Indian Ocean, dear guests. It's around 1,000 kilometers. But if we want to go to Indian Ocean, we should cross Afghanistan. You know Afghanistan, 50 years they are under the war, and infrastructure of Afghanistan is gone, destroyed. 50 years, three empires decided to capture Afghanistan, but they failed. First one it's British Empire. Second one Soviet Union, third one is America, also failed. But nowadays, after 2021, our president started to invest in Afghanistan, because Afghanistan our neighbor, we have border, we no choice. If they will be in a peace, it's good for everyone, for everybody. That's why our president decided to help them, decided to invest, and he started to build railways, I mean train station, train lines. And it will be good for everyone, for everybody. But we use mostly the port of St. St. Petersburg port. So Petersburg port is from here 5,000 kilometers. Just imagine. Our goods, our products very cheap, good quality. But if you want to sell it, because of logistics, it became very expensive. It's very difficult. And also, if we want to buy something from China, our goods come through Russia. We are dependent to Russia. You just imagine, we were part of Soviet Union. 130 years, Russians ruled, controlled us. 130 years, and in 1991, Soviet Union collapsed, and Uzbekistan obtained independence. Our first president, Islam Karimov, obtained independence, and we love him. So, but we still dependent to Russia because population increasing so fast in Uzbekistan. Each year 1 million, at least 1 million people increasing in Uzbekistan, and we should create for them job, but it's not easy. That's why most of people, they prefer to go to Russia just for work, because our second official language is Russian language. Everyone can speak easily in Russian language. That's why for them it's easy to go there. And before Russian-Ukraine war, around 3 or 4 million Uzbeks, they worked in Russia. They worked in Russia. But after the war, they started to come back, and then they started to learn other European language, and they started to move to another countries. And second, first of all, we depended because of job to Russia. Second, our people also so intelligent, but the salary were very low, and people, they prefer to go abroad. They work to Russia, to America, or to China, maybe for other countries. That's why I can say it's brain catch. Mostly in India, now Indians, they spend so much money for education, but America mostly they catch intelligent people. Yes, it's also we have like this problem also in Uzbekistan, because salary low, people they prefer to work to America or to other countries, and that's why for new technology we also dependent to Russia also, because they invest so much money, and they they send their workers, not our workers. Our workers, they work in a so bad job in a very low salary. This second one, we dependent to Russia. Third one, it's because of train line. If we want to buy something from China, our goods come through Russia. When Russia attacked to Ukraine, our minister on the stage of United Nations, he said to take the land of Ukraine is prohibited. We believe Ukraine is independent country. He decided to show the position of Uzbekistan, but Putin said nothing. He just locked the train line for 1 week. Just imagine, he locked the train line for 1 week, economic collapse. And our president, no choice, said to that minister, you are fired, find a job, and we support Russia, he said. You should understand our position. We no choice. We dependent to Russia. But nowadays we have big influence from China also, because our president, the second president in 2016, he became a president, and he started to change everything in a good side. And he went to China more than 30 times, negotiated with the Xi Jinping, and they started to build Chinese train lines to Uzbekistan through. They decided to build train lines to Europe through Uzbekistan. But to build train lines, it's so expensive, They should build big tunnels, because between China and Uzbekistan we have high mountains, the chain of Pamir, and we should build their tunnels. It's expensive, and China, they started to build their tunnels. In next 4 or 5 years they will finish it. We became a independent, slowly independent from the ruling of Russia. But our people, they love Russians. When they see Russians, they say our brothers, they say. And so like this, we have problems. So, and we have a lot of problems, dear guests. I want to explain you about the problem. I think everywhere there are problems. First biggest problem in Uzbekistan, dear guests, is water problem. Biggest problem, water. We had Aral Sea. We had Aral Sea. Nowadays, Aral Sea, it's Aral Desert. It's desert. Not water not exist. In that during Soviet times, that lake, I mean that Aral Sea was fourth biggest lake in the world. Just imagine, it was so big. But nowadays that biggest lake, biggest sea, not exist, no water, just desert. Second biggest problem, population increasing so fast, a lot of factories, a lot of how can I say, apartments everywhere, construction. For all of it we need power, I mean energy. We have second big problem, it's energy problem. Third biggest problem, dear guests, nowadays is air problem. Air polluted. Really, our air became so bad, air polluted. But just 6 days ago, our president announced a new law to how can I say, protect air, to clean the air. But it's not easy. Maybe next 5 years it will be clean. You can see our air. You see, so I mean, smoke. I don't know, dusty. Yeah, we no choice. We are waiting rain. You know, just in November, in the first November was a rained. If we are not include that rain, 7 months already passed, no rain in Uzbekistan. Just imagine, 7 months passed, rain not exist. Just during 7 months, in November, in first November, it rained. So we have like these problems. So now, dear guests, we enter into the Russian part. Here you can see, you can look, some buildings look like Russian style. Not this part, after here. Now I will show you. That part is Russian part. So during Russian Empire time they built, and all of these buildings under protection of UNESCO. In 2017, our previous governor of Samarkand region gave permission to build the whole building. When that businessman got permission, he destroyed just inside of that quarter, just 200 meters far from here. Destroyed one house which was 150 years old, destroyed, and started to build whole buildings 200 meters far from here. And of course people, they saw it, recorded and shared it on social media. That businessman got 13 years to the jail. Our previous governor 11 years. I mean, we can make money easily from tourism. That's why government, our judge and our president, they were super angry. That's why they gave them long time prison. Yes. So this part, dear guests, Russian part, and dear guests, in every city there is a main street. In Paris, it's Champs-Élysées. The Champs-Élysées of Samarkand city is this street, dear guests. In both sides you can see branded shops, jewelry, gold shops. It's our main street. The name of the street, Mirza Ulugh. He was a grandson of Timur. He was an astronomer. He was a scientist. This part mostly gold. This part famous with their gold, with their jewelry. So, and in Samarkand we have a lot of malls. One of them here, right side, here you can see, it's oldest mall, but it's they restored just 5 years ago. They reconstructed. These students, Indian students. So, dear guests, nowadays in Samarkand city, more than 2,000 Indian students they study. Just imagine, more than 2,000. I asked from them, why you choose Samarkand, Uzbekistan? Because we Uzbek people, if we have IELTS level, maybe 6, 7 grade, we prefer to apply to European or American universities. And they said me, Indian students, to study in Uzbekistan, it's very cheap, very cheap. Just education fee $1,500 around per year. Maybe cheaper, $1,300 maybe. And it's cheap, and study it's not hard, it's easy, they said. Even to study in India is very expensive and very hard, they say. That's why we prefer to study abroad. And also after the Russian-Ukraine war, also from Russia, from Ukraine, so many Indians and Pakistani students, they moved to Samarkand, to Uzbekistan. Only in Samarkand more than 2,000. In Tashkent, in Bukhara also a lot of Indian students. And they prefer to study our medical university. The medical university just there. I can show you old campus, new campus behind this old one. Left side, that building, it's old campus of medical university. Here you can see so many students, Indians also, not Indians also. Behind it, modern medical university. So one more interesting thing, I think you know already, everywhere you can meet the brand of Chevrolet, because Chevrolet biggest monopoly in Uzbekistan. When we obtained independence, everything was expensive, no factories, and our president, first president Islam Karimov, he invited Korean brand Daewoo. But 4 years later, Daewoo became a bankrupt, and General Motors, they bought in Uzbekistan the factory of Daewoo. And our president, first president, decided to make them monopoly, to keep money inside of Uzbekistan. He made them monopoly, and nowadays General Motors biggest monopoly in Uzbekistan, biggest. Their car cheap, good car, but local people dislike because no choice. If we want to buy other brand, we should pay very high tax, you know. From maybe China, maybe from other countries we want to buy. On the border, customs, they charge high taxes, very high tax. Doubly, triply you should pay. That's why people no choice, they prefer to buy local one. Local one is cheap. For example, this Onyx also, it's $18,000, $16,000. This one $8,000 per. It's very cheap. They waste less petrol. Good cars, but we prefer new one. And during 25 years, they were monopoly, but no upgrades. Can you imagine? 25 years they earned high money, a lot of money, but no upgrades. That's why people they dislike. But this second president, he said it's not good. He opened the borders, make taxes very low. People started to buy Chinese one, not local one, Chinese one. Because more options there, electric or hybrid. And president saw our factories, they couldn't sell their cars. And again he changed it. Again he make high taxes. But he said, I will invite other brands. He invited 3 extra brands. Chery, Chinese brand. BYD, also Chinese brand, and 1 Kia, Korean brand. Now we have 4 factories of cars, all of them monopoly, for example, BYD of Uzbekistan expensive, but BYD is the same brand, the same type of car. If you want to buy from China, it's very cheap, but on the border they charge again high taxes. It's I can say government decided to protect their market. Everywhere I think even in India also like this. Yeah. So in everywhere now you can see Chevrolet. Morning was so cold. That's why I wear my warm jacket. So, dear guest, right side you can see our central bank. Dear guest, now we in Uzbekistan we have around 40 banks. 5 of them, maybe 8 of them government bank, others private, and interest in the bank very high. Can you imagine? If you keep your money in the bank, they give you 20-25 percentage interest per year. And it's not because of inflation. Inflation in Uzbekistan nowadays day by day became a lower. It was just 3 years ago 11 percentage, next year 10, nowadays it's 8 and 9 percentage. Why their interest very high in Uzbekistan? Because most people of Uzbekistan Muslims, and interest in Islam is prohibited, and they prefer to keep their money under the bed, under the cushion, and it's not good for our economy. It's like diet money, and they decided to attract the money, and that's why they make high interest. So one more interesting thing, right side you can see this 2-floor light blue building. That building, first bank in Central Asia, Russian and Chinese bank it was before, during Russian Empire time. Nowadays it is a museum about Silk Road. So, yeah guys, this part we call boulevard. During Russian Empire time, the governor of Samarkand city was General Abramov. And General Abramov's daughter lived in Paris. She sent so many messages to his father, to Abramov. And she said on her message, "Oh my father, in Paris there are so many beautiful boulevards, flowers, trees, but you couldn't see like this beauty in Central Asia, in Samarkand," she said. And she sent like this message so many times. When General Abramov got like this message so many times, he was angry, and he decided to make his own boulevard. And he made this boulevard, he built this boulevard, and the local people will be proud it. Nowadays the name of this boulevard, the boulevard of the boulevard of university, because around this boulevard there are campuses of Samarkand State University. So, and one more interesting thing, dear guests, this 3 building before 2017 it was 7-story building. And as I mentioned it to you, our president said buildings should be just 10-15 meters because we should protect history. And they destroyed it. Just in 2017 they destroyed the top of this building, and nowadays just 3 floors we can see. So dear guests, and just look left side on the corner you can see the monument of Timur. This is monument of Timur, the national hero of Uzbekistan. And in Uzbekistan we have 3 monuments of Timur. 3 monuments. First one in Tashkent, because Tashkent official capital of Uzbekistan. Second one in Samarkand, because Samarkand was the capital of Timur. Third one in Shahrisabz. Shahrisabz, his hometown, dear guests. His hometown. And that's why we have 3 monuments of Timur, because he's a like hero for us. So our driver, our bus will be here in this parking, and we should little bit walk, just 50 meters, 100 meters, just there. And because check in the hotel after 2 p.m. After 2 p.m. That's why till lunchtime we should visit. Maybe close to evening, after 4 we should go to the hotel, and next day we will continue our tour. Okay, first we start from the mausoleum of Timur. It's very interesting.
Last place of today we will make it work.
Please.
The hotel will be last place for today.
Outside negotiation.